A bit more about the judge and some details of what we know is Defense Department former Chief of Staff Kash Patel. Kash, as always, great to have you with us.
Hey, great to be with you. Thank
there
you.
He is, Kash. Great to have you with us. Kash is a former federal prosecutor as well. Kash, we want to talk a little bit more about this judge. I interviewed him back in 2015. At the time, we were talking about Lois Lerner and the IRS targeting scandal. We talked about Lois Lerner deleting emails that may have implicated her as being responsible for this. But talk to us, about what you know based on your history as a former federal prosecutor. How high does the bar have to be for a judge like Reinhart to sign off on a search warrant like this?
Well, look, search warrants are governed by the same standard across the board, whether it's this search warrant or even before the federal court regarding foreign warrant applications. It's probable cause. It's not hard to get probable cause. It's literally more likely than not, 5149 standard. And if you have someone in there swearing that they saw X, Y, or Z, and then you have some documentary evidence to approve of it, you can obtain a search warrant, especially if you forum shop for the right judge. Now, it's ironic, or interesting, I should say, that this judge was selected when there's over 20 other magistrate judges. Now, it says that, maybe he was the on-duty judge. I don't know. Maybe he wasn't, which just means he's sitting in the cycle. But the DOJ and FBI know when these guys come in. As a former federal prosecutor in the Southern District, I know that you get the calendar. You know who's up. You know who to go to when you wink, wink, need something. But my concern is not so much the Epstein stuff, but this judge, and not so much the fact that he donated to Obama, and not so much that he put out a pretty disgusting statement against Donald Trump, but it's the fact that he recused himself from Donald Trump's RICO civil case that he brought in the Southern District. So if he recused himself from that case, why is he assigning a search warrant against this case?
Yeah, and you're right. There was sort of, three judges in that circuit, and, he was chosen, or he was up, as you say, wink, wink. Curious about when the tweet is surfacing, too. I think people do want to make something about the Epstein thing, although this is America and you have a right to have a defense attorney. Kash, we won't be hearing from this judge. One time he spoke to John at length here on Newsmax. But what would you ask him? What would you ask him if you had him in front of you? What would you want to know?
It's pretty simple. How can you give the American people confidence that you decided this in a neutral manner? That's the job of a magistrate judge. Why did you recuse yourself from one of the biggest sweeping RICO civil cases brought by President Trump against Clinton, the FBI, Rod Rosenstein, and a slew of other candidates? You were recused from that case, but you were allowed yourself to handle this one. And more importantly, you've publicly stated that you basically despise Donald Trump in a tweet or a message that he put out some years ago. That's literally the telltale sign of when you say, okay, there's 20 some odd other magistrate judges, let one of them handle it. That would have been the appropriate thing to do, in my opinion, and that's what I would ask.
Yeah, she just mentioned Hillary Clinton, and she seems to be enjoying this whole scenario. She was trolling President Trump yesterday. She's out there selling her merch, talking about, but her emails. She loves, I think she obviously is enjoying this, but we can't forget that Hillary Clinton was literally destroying BlackBerries with a hammer when she worked at the State Department. When we talked about this again, you know this as well as anybody, the FBI lied on their FISA warrant to surveil Carter Page. How can we as a country have any confidence in the Department of Justice right now based on the last 10 years?
It's really tough, and it's sad for me to say that as a former national security prosecutor and a guy who worked with DOJ and FBI around the world, not just around America, bringing national security prosecutions. The way you do it is it's a step process. It's going to take time. You have congressional oversight investigations, like when we ran Russiagate, to hold the corrupt FBI and DOJ folks accountable for their politicization of our national security and law enforcement apparatus. You publicize the documents from the DOJ and FBI. And the way you do this is you win the gavels in Congress and you hold people's feet to the fire and you make sure Kevin McCarthy does what he said he was going to do, which is investigate Merrick Garland and publicize the documents. But it takes more than just one man to do it, and that's how you start to maybe restore public confidence, by holding these people accountable, by removing them, not in 5 years, but in 5 days. That's the starting point. The end point is 2024, so it's going to be a long 2 years. I do believe it's possible to get there, but it's going to take a mountain of a lift.
Just about a minute left, Cash, but, Ashley Moody just minutes ago said, President Biden, Merrick Garland is, an appointee. He should be out. But, the president's starting a vacation in South Carolina. There's silence from the DOJ. And you're saying Americans deserve answers. We're not getting them. And we really have to wait now until the midterms? I mean, this is what it's come down to, apparently.
Unfortunately, yes, this DOJ is not going to give you any answers. They're not going to give you any public information, and neither is this FBI, at least as it relates to this investigation, quote unquote, raid or whatever you want to call it. They'll happily leak information that favors them, of course, so watch for that. And they'll leak other matters that politicize their apparatus to their benefit. But we won't be hearing anything about, oh, this is too close to the election to raid a former president's house, but it's close enough to the election to hold off John Durham's indictments and a Hunter Biden prosecution. It's a two-tier system of justice on full display, and that ticks me and most of America off more than anything else.
Yeah.
That's certainly the perception a lot of us get based on what we've learned recently. Kash Patel, great to see you. Great to hear from you. Take care.
Thanks.
JP Morgan's CEO is warning that an economic hurricane is coming. Are you preparing? If you don't do anything, your 401k could be a 201k, and that is not good. So call our trusted friends at Lear Capital. For 25 years, Lear has helped investors own gold to protect against market chaos. It's a good thing. They can help you too. Get your information and up to $15,000 in bonus IRA gold. Just call this number, 800-880-4300. That's 800-880-4300.